Hi everyone, welcome to my first math course, and we're going to talk about algebraic expression in this math course. First of all, we're going to talk about simplification. It's very important to know that when you're adding or subtracting terms, only like terms can be added or subtracted. Like terms, it means terms with the same variable. So if we look at this example, 5a plus 2b minus 3a plus b. We see that there are two variables in this expression, variable a and variable b. All the terms with variable a are like terms, and all the terms with variable b are another like terms. So we put like terms together so it's easier to calculate them. 5a minus 3a plus 2b plus b. Now we can calculate like terms. 5a minus 3a is 2a, and 2b plus b is 3b. So the answer to this expression is 2a plus 3b. However, the method of simplification is quite different when it comes to multiplication or division. Let's look at multiplication first, this one. So it's 3pq multiplied 4qr. First of all, we multiply the numbers first. So it's 3 multiplied 4, which is 12. And now let's go to the variables. So I'm just gonna write pq multiplied qr. Here we see that there are two q's. Easier way to write this is q squared, because that's what q squared means. So it's gonna be 12p q squared r. And if we look at the division, usually when we solve division problems, we'll write them in a fraction, so then it's easier to see the common factors between the numerator and the denominator. At first glance, it's very easy to see that both sides have a. So we can cancel out the a, because a fraction, if you multiply both sides or divide both sides by a number, the fraction stays the same. And now we get 12c over 8b. It might not be so obvious now, but we have to pay extra attention to the numbers. So in this case, it's 12 and 8. We know that 12 equals to 3 multiplied 4, and 8 equals to 2 multiplied 4. We see here that both numbers contain a common factor 4, so we should cancel out this common factor as well. So what we get is 12 divided by 4, you get 3, and 8 divided by 4, you get 2. The C and B that we left before, and that's the final answer. So it's important when you see that when you might not see any common factors between the variables, but you need to pay extra attention to the numbers. Next, fractions. As usual, we're going to talk about adding and subtracting first. There's 3 steps. First of all, you need to keep the denominator the same. In other words, you have to find a common denominator. The way you do that usually is you find the least common multiple between the denominators. I'll explain to that later. And the second step is you adjust the numerator so that the value of the fraction stays the same. And then lastly, you can add or subtract the numerator. Let's look at this example. X over 2 plus x over 3. We see that the denominator are not the same, so you have to go over the steps like this. One denominator is 2 and one denominator is 3. The common denominator, the least common multiple between 2 and 3, it's 6. You just multiply them together. So I get 2 multiplied 3 plus 3 multiplied 2. Now we go to the second step. You need to adjust the numerator. If we look at the first fraction, x over 2 first, the denominator of x over 2 has been multiplied by 3. In order to keep the value of this fraction the same, you need to multiply the numerator by 3 as well. So it's 3x, and now the second fraction, the denominator has been multiplied by 2. So the numerator has to be multiplied by 2 as well. So it's 2x. And now you get 3x over 6 plus 2x over 6. And last step, you can add or subtract the numerator. So it's 3x plus 2x, 5x, and the denominator is 6. Next, look at multiplication first. There are 2 steps. First of all, you cancel out the common factors between the numerator and the denominator, and then you simply multiply the numerator with the numerator and the denominator with the denominator. Okay, but when you're dividing, there's one more extra step that you need to do. You know that when you divide something, it equals to multiply the reverse of it. So you can just, when you're dividing something, you can just turn around the fraction that's going to be divided and look at it as if it's a multiplication and continue with the steps. So for example, we look at this fraction, 8a over 3b divided by 2a over 9b. We know that we need to change it into multiplication so that we can continue the calculation. So it's equals to 8a over 3b divide 2a over 9b equals to multiply 9b over 2a. So you just turn the fraction around and you can multiply. We go to the first step, cancel common factors. We see that when you're canceling common factors, you need to be aware that you always cancel the numerator with the denominator. So you can't cancel out the numerators with the numerator or denominator with the denominator. The fraction, the value would just change. Okay, so if we look at, first of all, let's look at this term, 8a. 8a and this denominator, 3b, they don't have any common factor. We look at this denominator, 2a. Okay, here we see they both have a. So we cancel out the a, and we look at the numbers 8 and 2. They both contain a common factor 2. So we cancel out the 2, and 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So we get 4. And now we look at this numerator, 9b, and 3b, this denominator. They both have a common factor b, and they both have a common factor 3. So we take out this 3, and 9 divided by 3 equals 3. There's a 4, there's a 3, 4 multiply 3, and all the denominators just got cancelled out. So the answer is 12. Last, we're going to talk about binomial product. First of all, for the really basic ones, a multiply b plus c. You just multiply the term outside the bracket with each and every term inside the bracket. So it's a multiply b plus, because this symbol is plus, and if this symbol is minus, you just changed it into minus, plus a multiply c. And now if we look at a plus b multiply c plus d, you can actually see this as a multiply c plus d plus b multiply c plus d. So this is just kind of an upgraded version of this one. And now we've got some special products here. A plus b squared. You should remember it. It's a squared plus b squared plus 2ab. And a minus b squared, it's a squared plus b squared, but it's minus 2ab. And lastly, we've got this difference of two squares. A plus b multiply a minus b. The answer is just a squared minus b squared. The name, you see, it's difference of two squares. So it's like difference of two squares. You can also remember it like this. We've got a very last exercise in this video. It's a combination of special products and difference of two squares. So if you think you got it, you can just pause the video and see if you can make out the answer. But I'm gonna do it here. Okay, so first of all, we look at the first part, x plus 3 squared. This is just the special product. So you've got x squared plus 3 squared plus 2 multiply 3 multiply x. And now we look at the second part. But we need to be aware that here it's a minus sign. It's a minus sign. So you take the minus and you need to get a bracket. You can also add a bracket when it's a plus sign, but when it's plus sign, it doesn't really make a difference. But when it's minus sign, you need to add a bracket to make sure that you don't make any mistakes. And here, x minus 1 multiply x plus 2. So it's x squared plus 2x minus 2. Okay, and now we can calculate it. We just x squared plus 3 squared equals to 9 plus 2 multiply 3 multiply x is 6x minus, we still keep the bracket because we haven't simplified it yet, x squared plus 2x minus x equals plus x minus 2. Finally, we can take out the bracket x squared plus 9 plus 6x. But be aware that when we're taking out the bracket, because this is minus, you need to change the symbol of every plus or negative sign. So you need to switch it. If it's plus, it becomes negative, and if it's negative, it becomes plus. So it was a little plus here, and now, because it's a minus sign, we switch it to minus x squared. It was plus, and we switch it to minus x, and here it was minus sign, so we switch it to plus. And now we can do like terms. X squared minus x squared, so that cancels out. And the like term 6x minus x, which is 5x. And the numbers plus x plus 2 plus 11. That's the final answer, and I hope you got it right. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments below, or if you have any improvements that you can suggest to this video, also leave it in the comments below. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.